I want to apologize to Colorado. I'm in Denver, Colorado right now, and but it took me 4 years to get here. And I wonder if the legalization had anything to do with having more people come into Colorado, therefore more tax revenue, more people, that's what Germany does. Germany wants more people to come into their country because they want they want you to have a good life, but they also think you bring in all those outside influences, so therefore, more people, more taxes, but also more people, more of a robust conversation, so we all can, see what's best for each other and the community, and hold hands, singing Kumbaya and passing the peace pipe. So Colorado, when I first got here, I go, I'm driving 70, I think, or 74. I think it's 70. And 70 comes in, on the side, and then it takes about 2.5 hours in order to get to Denver once you come in from the side of Colorado. The first gas stations, I was like, where are the weed at? And nobody knew where the weed was. Well, it's because there was no weed around them. There was like, you got to go to Denver. And so that's one thing, right? That doesn't seem like the entire state of Colorado has embraced it. You can't just buy anything. As soon as you get into Colorado, you got to get into more of the heart of the state in order to find where these smoke shops are located. I think it's because they're, licensed by the state, and therefore you got to pass, all these rigorous background checks, and so only the very few, people can have smoke shops. And so the first person, they said that there was none around where I was at. I go into Denver, and I go to a Taco Bell. There's a guy in the car there. He didn't know where any smoke shops were. There was a guy in Taco Bell. He didn't know where any smoke shops were. And I was like, oh my God, Colorado. There's no pot here, is there? There's no pot. And it's not clear. It looks very much, it looks, like New York or whatever. There's roads and highways and interstates and corporations all over the place. And it doesn't look like just one big pot leaf. It's not... they haven't gone full-blown like we love marijuana here, just that they're tolerant of those who do it, and so I'm sure there's a hippie culture, a pot culture here somewhere, but in general, it seems like the general population, it hasn't, overwhelmed, Colorado. It still seems very much, they regulated it, so they did it right. They slowly allowed it to happen, and then it happened. So, then I found Smokies and Evans, and they give me these little prescription pill bottles. Actually, let me check it. Which is kind of neat because they started out as medical marijuana, and so they give me these little pill bottles, and these are this is 1 gram of sour diesel, and so there's marijuana in there. I got a joint right here. Actually, for Colorado, I think I might just go ahead and smoke me some while I'm doing this, because it's legal. And also found me a hotel. All these other hotels said that you couldn't have it, but if you go to the first Interstate Inn, it's run by a cute Asian couple, and it's kind of a hole-in-the-wall place, but they are the cheapest, like $5 or $10, but still cheaper, and they let smoking, including marijuana, happen in their hotels. Whereas all these other corporations, I guess they're still trying to be like family friendly or some shit, but they're gonna lose out on a lot of business. But so I lucked out. If you come into Denver, you can get the first Interstate Inn. Go to Smokies. You could buy up to an ounce. There was actually a bunch of laws that I was wanting to go through when I first got here too. Just some things off the top of my head. You have to be over 21 years of age. There's no public smoking whatsoever. There's even a big billboard on the interstate that says we will do DNA tests. So if they assume or suspect you of smoking marijuana while driving, they'll pull you over and they'll take your blood. And then if they find marijuana in your blood, and it's at a certain level, then they're going to go ahead and throw you, in jail. So, that's interesting. That seems like they're like DUIs, and that is, driving under the influence. Also, no public spaces. I asked one guy, what, there's no public spaces, but can you smoke on your porch? Can you smoke on your back porch? And he said that the cops would harass you. And so that's not, it doesn't seem too friendly. And actually the way that these amendments came down, there is 9 amendments here in Colorado that are pretty mixed. 8 of 9 of them I wanted to pass, but 8 of 9 of them did not pass. Instead, only 5 of the 9 passed, including one really shitty one. The one I didn't want to pass did pass. So it's not a liberal wonderland. It's not a progressive wonderland. Colorado, it almost seems like what happened here in Colorado is some progressives were able to use the ballot initiative process, get the legalization of marijuana on the ballot in 2012. It passed, and then everybody else is catching up. You got all these reactionaries, and Amendment 71 is one of these reactionaries. They're butthurt over the marijuana petition, and so they went to make stricter requirements for what petitions can be voted on by the people. Now, I live in a state where there are no initiatives. In Kentucky, there are no initiatives, only referendums. The only things that Kentuckians are allowed to vote for are the things that the legislators decide or think that the Kentucky people need to vote on. So if the legislature don't put an issue on the ballot, it doesn't get on the ballot. So therefore, we've had very few ballot initiatives that we've been voting on. In 2004, we had the opportunity to tell gay people that they stink and they need to get the hell out of, you need to get on out of here, boy. So that was a wonderful opportunity, right? That was an amendment that you could put on the ballot, but we couldn't put, it's very restrictive. So 4 million people, Kentuckians, could sign a ballot or sign a petition saying they want, to vote on the legalization of marijuana. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't go on the ballot because Kentucky's democracy is broken and they're the most corrupt state in the nation. So that's why it was very disappointing to see this Amendment 71. Amendment 71 passed, and they wanted stricter requirements. And so what are the stricter requirements? They want 2% of every district. Every district now needs 2% of the people to decide. That's almost fucking impossible. I mean, this is actually a travesty. I want to look at all these actually more directly. I want to know who the fuck pushed 71. So, now you won't be able to get any amendments or any initiatives onto the ballot. So therefore, all the things that Coloradans just voted on. So even though Coloradans disagreed with me on, this issue and another issue, the idea that we actually got to vote, the idea that we actually got to vote on the issues is just mind-blowing to me. You all had 9 issues in Colorado, and then you had 12 choices for, or 22 choices for president and 8 choices for senator. This is good for democracy. More voices, more choices. And it's a robust conversation. I don't know anyways, so now there's stricter requirements, so now you're going to have less ballot initiatives, less things to decide on. So whoever pushed Amendment 71, there's 2 representatives and then a bunch of corporations that was backing it. They're a bunch of fucking assholes. They wanted the people to have less power, and then the people voted on that amendment to have less power. It's butthurt over the marijuana legalization. A bunch of rural reactionaries was like, well, I'm getting my country back. No, you're not. You actually just gave your country away to the elites. You can't choose anything. So here, let's take a quick list of all the things that Colorado actually had to choose on. So there was Colorado Care. So there's universal health care. Hey, Colorado, did you want universal health care? Actually, by resounding margins, 4-1, Colorado does not want universal health care. They're getting all that tax revenue from the marijuana industry, but they don't want to invest in health care. Shame on you, Colorado. It was very stupid. But I like that way better than that 71. But my point is, you got to decide. You got to choose on it. Instead of, Obama saying we're going to have Obamacare and then just having the representatives decide on it, the people of Colorado got to decide whether they wanted universal health care or not, and they voted it down. So you had that choice. You had that opportunity. Now, are you going to be able to put these amendments on there? It seems like it'd be easier just to get the legislator, just to get the referendums, put on there instead of the people-initiated petitions. Minimum wage was increased. So another great progressive legislation. Minimum wage right now is $9.30. It's going to be $9.30 immediately, and then they're going to move it up to $12 by 2020. So, this is huge. By January 2020, the minimum wage here in Colorado will be $12 an hour. Right now, immediately, it's $9.50. So essentially, if there's any jobs that don't pay a living wage, those jobs should be illegal anyways. So that was a good amendment, okay? You got to choose about the minimum wage if you want to increase. You got to choose Colorado Care if you wanted universal health care. Then the fucking stricter regulations. Then there was increase in taxes. They voted, Coloradans voted to increase taxes down. So there's not going to be an increase on tobacco taxes. There was stop prisoner slavery. There was no constitutional change. So actually allowing the language of slavery. Yeah,